We could do that by pulling out of Iraq and Afghanistan as quickly as humanly possible. I want to get out of both wars. I believe they're a waste. I would never send my son or daughter there. I wouldn't want you to send your son or daughter there. I don't know what we're fighting for anymore. I'm not quite sure anyone knows what we're fighting for anymore. And I think what those two wars proved is, number one, when you fight too many wars, you grow the government too big, you bankrupt the country, and most importantly, you lose treasure and lives. And it better be worth fighting for. I'm not anti-war. I'm not a pacifist, because if you see the polls, and I happen to be a policy wonk, and I study every poll on every issue, and America is not an anti-war country, and it's not a pacifist country, so you got to be very careful we don't come across as the pacifist party. We're the smart party that's careful with the government's money. And fighting wars is bankrupting the country, draining the treasury, and leading to insolvency and unsustainable debt for this country. If you use that analogy, instead of just being against war, you can win over to our side, convert millions of Republicans, conservatives, and by the way, the latest polls show 2/3 of independents call themselves conservatives. They can be won over. And by the way, I'm also for dramatically cutting foreign aid and cutting military bases all over the world. So I think I stand with Ron Paul on pretty much every issue, but the way I explain it is very carefully crafted for the media, so we don't frighten anyone who knows there are dangers lurking all over the world and people that do want to attack America.
Time. Thank you. Do you want, Mr. Hancock, do you want to respond?
Just a little bit. We don't need a third war party. One of the reasons that the Libertarian Party shot up from its very humble nothing beginnings to begin with is because we were anti-war. We were pro-peace. We were against the draft. One of the biggest floods of our membership came from the anti-draft movement. There is a central core that makes a libertarian, is that we own ourselves. We're not part of a hive. We're not a drone. We're not a battery for a machine. We own ourselves, and the only function of government is to help protect that very concept. I'll tell you this, Wayne and I, we see things totally different, have different methods that we would do this. Yes, I believe Wayne would get a lot of media coverage. I believe Wayne would be the face and the philosophy of the Libertarian Party. I believe Wayne would be the one that would voice what it is to be libertarian to millions of people. I do it totally differently. I encourage, help, allow, promote, provide resources for you to do it. For the activists across this country, and I've been doing this for decades. You know, the most recent one you're probably most familiar with is the Lovolution. It was all about individual activists all over the country. I would go and help. I did everything I could that the media, nobody knew that I was the one that created that logo. I didn't want them to know. I didn't want to have one person. I didn't want to be Wayne Allyn Root. I wanted you to be the story, and you were. Everywhere all over this country, you could not stop it. There was not a head of a snake to chop off. It was unstoppable. It is how movements go. A movement does not have a head. It is all of us together. But I tell you this, when asked, when the opportunity comes up, anti-war. I am not ashamed. I will not equivocate from it. I won't back off from it. War on drugs. Heck no. Do you or do you not own your body? Yeah. I mean, it's really simple stuff. When you talk about the civil rights thing, the biggest criticism that I heard certainly from libertarians and peace and freedom people was that Rand did not take the opportunity to explain property rights. He didn't go libertarian enough. It's an enormous opportunity for us. It's an enormous void that needs to be filled with a hardcore, no compromise, principled stand that makes Rand and Ron look more moderate. It makes Rand and Ron able to get things passed that normally they wouldn't have. I want a free, libertarian, global revolution. That's what I offer. It's not about how much I get on TV or how much we do. It's a cultural change that we're working for. That's what I'm for.
We have any other questions?
so please come up and talk to Allyn and, thank you.
I guess this would be for both of you. My name is Thomas. I'm pretty new to the Libertarian Party, less than a year. At what point would you compromise libertarian values for media success and all that? When would you compromise? Wayne?
Why, who's got the question first? Ernest first on this one, I believe.
I'll take it. I'll set you up, Wayne, don't worry about it.
All right.
You know, the first question, the question is there a point or an issue that you would compromise when pressed? I mean, there's going to be, I'll give you an example. 9/11. 9/11 happened, a lot of us knew, certainly in the freedom movement, we knew what was going to happen. You think the Patriot Act was all of a sudden, you know, gazillion pages was just drafted right then? It was sitting on the shelf. They've been trying to pass this forever. It came in various different forms during the Clinton administration. They had it ready. They said, oh man, this is a good opportunity. We're going to get some good now. And how many of us, you know, and certainly not me, but I'm sure there were some that are going, yeah, boy, if it keeps the soccer moms and kids happy and safe, we need to start doing wiretapping. We need to start putting cameras everywhere. We need to start doing video surveillance. We need to start doing photo radar tickets, which is video surveillance, and they go up, you know, you guys probably don't even know this. We just got camera fraud, that we call it, in Arizona, the video cameras and the photo radar and the freeway system in Arizona, it's done now. The cameras are coming down in July. But they are not photo radar. They're continuous video surveillance, and you put your name into a person of interest database, and every time any automobile associated with your driver's license or registration goes by one of their cameras, it tracks you, and they put it in the database, know where you are, or where you've been. This is what we knew was coming. In 3 weeks after 9/11, we had been planning it for like 6 months before, we had the first Freedom Summit. Ron Paul spoken at 3 of our Freedom Summits, and the last one just this last December. I knew what his rhetoric was going to be. I knew he wasn't going to back away from being libertarian. I knew he wasn't going to back away from running as a libertarian. I knew he wasn't going to back away from libertarian principles. And I knew it was finally the first opportunity we were going to have libertarian philosophy explained to America by a libertarian and not a Republican, Democrat, or the media. That is what I saw as an enormous opportunity for us. Where was the compromise on any issue? I'll agree with Wayne. I mean, you can couch it in such a way that you're not frightening the horses, but don't compromise. One thing that Wayne's probably finding out now on the internet, a lot of us know, is that if you deviate just a little bit, you get a little crack in there, these young minds that know better now, that have been for the last couple of years immersed themselves in libertarianism, they will beat you senseless on the internet on any compromise. You need to be consistent, you need to be pure, you need to be relevant, and you need to be unapologetic. It's just the way it is.